Hi everyone, I hope you can hear me, the music's pretty loud behind me. We're listening to my Discovery News playlist. This is Mercedes by Isle River, big fan of the artist, and this particular song as well. It's been a minute since I've done one of these. Also, I did indeed record another episode of the podcast, but we're only releasing those from now on on our Spotify channel. So, this YouTube channel will be solely for these rambles, which once again, I'm aware you're not actually listening, and I am talking to myself. We're all on the same page, and that page is the one that's open on the left side of my browser, because it's the only one open, and I'm the only one on it. And that page is the website from the Poetry Foundation for the love song of J. Alfred Prufrock by T.S. Eliot. T.S. Eliot is an artist originally from St. Louis, and he credits the city of St. Louis for really forming him into the person he is, but he is most known as an American expatriate who lived in England and did most of his work in England. He was a true Anglophile, really assimilated into the drastically different culture over there, and really identified as an Englishman throughout most of his life, but he never forgot where he came from. He credited the city, he visited it, and that background is not super relevant to this poem. This poem I found, and I've read other poems. I have engaged in phases of being interested in poetry, but I can't quote really a single other poem I read other than this one by the love song of J. Alfred Prufrock, or by T.S. Eliot, and then some Robert Frost poems also stand out to mind. But Robert Frost poems are very highly embedded in our elementary school curriculum, so that just makes sense. That's where those poems really come to my mind from. Whereas T.S. Eliot is obscure, and there's one poem long enough that just this one poem does give me useful material to sound smart, to sound like I'm citing poems in my life. However, once again, it is the only poem I can do this with, not for lack of reading, truly, but solely because it's the only one that spoke to me in any great way, and it really does. I've never figured out what the Italian at the start of the poem means, because if you're unaware, the poem does start with a little paragraph stanza in Italian, but I like it. So what I'm going to do today is read this poem, and then talk about lines from it I've used, I guess, is what I plan. We'll see how long this takes. It's a little bit long. I'm not going to read the Italian. Let us go then, you and I, when the evening is spread out against the sky. Like a patient etherized upon a table, let us go through certain half-deserted streets, the muttering retreats of restless nights and one-night cheap hotels, and sawdust restaurants with oyster shows, streets that follow like a tedious argument of insidious intent, to lead you to an overwhelming question. Oh, do not ask, what is it? Let us go and make our visit. In the room, the women come and go, talking of Michelangelo. The yellow fog that rubs its back upon the window panes, the yellow smoke that rubs its muzzle on the window panes, licked its tongue into the corners of the evening, lingered upon the pools that stand in drains, let fall upon its back the soot that falls from chimneys, slipped by the terrace, made a sudden leap, and seeing that it was a soft October night, curled once about the house, and fell asleep. And indeed there will be time for the yellow smoke that slides along the street, rubbing its back upon the window panes. There will be time. There will be time to prepare a face to meet the faces that you meet. There will be time to murder and create, and time for all the works and days of hands that lift and drop a question on your plate. Time for you, and time for me, and time yet for 100 indecisions and for 100 visions and revisions before the taking of a toast and tea. In the room, the women come and go, talking of Michelangelo. And indeed, there will be time to wonder, do I dare, and do I dare? Time to turn back and descend the stair with a bald spot in the middle of my hair. They will say how his hair is growing thin. My morning coat, my collar mounting firmly to the chin, my necktie rich and modest, but asserted by a simple pin. They will say, but how his arms and legs are thin. Do I dare disturb the universe? In a minute there is time for decisions and revisions, which a minute will reverse. For I have known them all already, known them all, have known the evenings, mornings, afternoons. I have measured out my life with coffee spoons. I know the voices dying with a dying fall, beneath the music from a farther room. So how should I presume? And I have known the eyes already, known them all. The eyes that fix you in a formulated phrase, and when I am formulated, sprawling on a pin, when I am pinned and wriggling on the wall, then how should I begin to spit out all the buttons of my days and ways? And how should I presume? And I have known the arms already, known them all, arms that are braceleted in white and bare, but in the lamplight, downed with light brown hair. Is it perfume from a dress that makes me so digress? Arms that lie along a table, or wrap about a shawl, and should I then presume? And how should I begin? Should I say I have gone at dusk through narrow streets, and watched the smoke that rises from the pipes of lonely men in shirt sleeves leaning out of windows? I should have been a pair of ragged claws scuttling across the floors of silent seas, and the afternoon, the evening sleep so peacefully, smoothed by long fingers, asleep, tired, or it malingers. Stretched on the floor, here beside you and me, should I, after tea and cakes and ices, have the strength to force the moment to its crisis. But though I have wept and fasted, wept and prayed, though I have seen my head, grown slightly bald, brought in upon a platter, I am no prophet, and here's no great matter. I have seen the moment of my greatness flicker, and I have seen the eternal footman hold my coat and snicker, and in short, I was afraid. And would it have been worth it, after all, after the cups, the marmalade, the tea, among the porcelain, among some talk of you and me, would it have been worthwhile to have bitten off the matter with a smile, to have squeezed the universe into a ball, to roll it towards some overwhelming question, to say, I am Lazarus, come from the dead, come back to tell you all, I shall tell you all? If one, settling a pillow by her head, should say, that is not what I meant at all, that is not it, at all. And would it have been worth it, after all? Would it have been worthwhile, after the sunsets and the dooryards and the sprinkled streets, after the novels, after the teacups, after the skirts that trail along the floor, and this and so much more? Would it have been... It's impossible to say just what I mean, but as if a magic lantern threw the nerves and patterns on a screen, would it have been worthwhile if one, settling a pillow or throwing off a shawl and turning toward the window should say, that is not it at all, that is not what I meant at all. No, I am not Prince Hamlet, nor was meant to be. I am an attendant lord, one that will do to swell a progress, start a scene or two, advise the prince, no doubt an easy tool, deferential, glad to be of use, politic, cautious, and meticulous, full of high sentence, but a bit obtuse, at times indeed almost ridiculous, almost, at times, the fool. I grow old. I shall wear the bottoms of my trousers rolled. Shall I part my hair behind? Do I dare to eat a peach? I shall wear white flannel trousers and walk upon the beach. I've heard the mermaids singing each to each. I do not think that they will sing to me. I've seen them riding seaward on the waves, combing the white hair of the waves blown back when the wind blows the water white and black. We have lingered in the chambers of the sea, by sea girls wreathed with seaweed, red and brown, till human voices wake us, and we drown. So, why does that poem speak so much to me? One is the rhymes are out of this world good, like crazy, incredible, better than this music for sure. Beyond that, the obviously there's multiple ways of interpreting it. There's multiple things happening to the persona of this poem, but fundamentally, it's about not knowing what you want to do as you grow with your life. It's about questioning your decisions, and it's about a search for love, and it's about frustration in that search. And that is something that has always been me. Like, I'm a romantic in the sense of the word, as in imaginative, contemplative, wants to see the poems, the patterns and rhymes and reason of fiction play out in real life, and in the sense that I've always loved romance, the concept of it for other people, and have had conflicting feelings on what to do in a search for it for myself, because I've had conflicted feelings on a lot of things. I am by nature multivalent. No, I am multivalent. I am multivalent. That's kind of funny, I think. So what poems did I use? when Sophie and I were first talking, oh, I said a name, my bad. It's 10 minutes into a video, it's fine. When we were first talking about, like, our feelings for each other and, like, rocking the boat of what we had an established friendship long ago, there's another time in the conversation where we both started to say something and then both stopped. And then I just kind of thought that was a little bit funny and said, do I dare disturb the universe? Do I dare to eat a peach? And she was like, what? And I said nothing, it's from a poem. And we moved on with the conversation. Later, we were talking about or sort of in between talking phase, and I was like, I'm fine for now. At some point, I may have to force the crisis to a moment of decision, and then also then said the line about indecisions and revisions, what's a minute will reverse. I'll rise. I said that line. I swear, I said another line from this poem as well. Just not like, I wasn't like racking my head for the line at the time, it just came to me naturally, but now I can't remember what else I said. But the poem really does speak to me a lot. And that's really all I have to say on this matter. What else is happening in my life? I'm set to go for an accelerated master's currently. Currently within the research project, I'm assigned to design a mount for Nortec ADCP signal profiler. I don't know how to do that. Like, I know in general I want a tripod design with bases on the legs and then an attachment for the actual profiler mount. The actual thing will be attached, that even if the tripod like starts to tilt along the ground, then it will counter swing so that the actual device is always getting data from straight down. I can like conceptually describe that and understand it, and I could like draw a little thing and label it. I don't know how to make that either physically or in AutoCAD, and I don't know what is expected of me when I show up for this project. Every time I look at a job description for an engineering job, I feel instantly, one, out of my depth, but two, even when it's something that like I think I could do, it's soul crushingly terrible, not remotely how I want to spend my life. Research also like doesn't seem great, but it seems better. The academic route of some sort is really what I am made for. I truly think that I am meant to acquire information and give it to others. The doing of things with that information is not for me. And so I think I could do various managerial positions because I can understand the information that comes in and I can direct people if given a sense of authority, but I don't generally feel comfortable claiming authority that I don't feel I have by title, and I'm too polite and cautious to I think really seize those positions. So I really think academic route is where I'm most prepared, though obviously when I'm in a group project or whatever and I have needed to show leadership, I have done so. So it's not like I'm incapable of it. I clearly am. I clearly demonstrated this to myself and others numerous times that I'm good at things when I try to do them. But it's not really a position where I want to put myself into scrabble struggle my way up the ladder. Is Scrabble like Scrabbling's a motion? I think so. I don't know. Anywho. I don't know how intelligent I seem right now. I don't think I seem very intelligent at all. That's a joke because my dad got into a habit for a little bit of instead of saying at all, he says et al, which is just wrong and stupid and bad and stupid and horrible and poor pronunciation and not good for any reason and stupid and bad and annoying. Have I mentioned it was bad and stupid yet? Anyway, outside, so that's research. In the short term, the project is, I don't know what I'm doing. In the long term, I don't know if I really want Dr. Wong to be my master's advisor because I don't know if I want to lock myself into fluid mechanics for the master's. For overall in general, I have no sort of idea of what original thesis or project I could do to meet the master's requirement. So really, I'm getting way ahead of myself. I'm going to apply for this program. I'm going to finish up writing the letter at some point. I'm going to get those credits, and I'm still going to do everything I said I would do, take the LSAT and everything. I really do think at this point, law school is where my future will take me. Which is unfortunate, because that's 3 years of, instead of earning money, paying someone for classes. I could do the Dayton online and try to do something that way. I could look into that more. Politics, I mean, I'm glad Breyer retired so that Biden can appoint someone. It's going to prevent him from getting any bills passed, Democrats will lose at least the House in the midterms. Good chance the Senate too. And then we're just not going to pass anything. Maybe I'm being too pessimistic. Maybe we can get a climate bill passed, which is probably the most important, but not big enough to really deliver the progressive change that we need, either politically or practically in terms of policy choices. And probably not even big enough to meet our actual climate objectives. And it's really interesting. No one who's ever spent a great deal of time with me seems to have doubted that I am intelligent. That's just nerd, smart are descriptors that come up with me pretty easily. People see, it's hard for people who put any value in our education system at all to see how, with relatively little effort, I have succeeded at such a high level to conclude I'm not smart. I don't spend much time around people who are completely dismissive of school as a measure of intelligence in that sort of way. And also I know a fair bit of stuff, I guess, and I talk about what I know, which is something other people don't. I try to be the same person around everyone I meet. I'm not sure how good of a job I'm doing that. I've been doing it that. I'm saying a lot in this video, right? Other filler words go too. No, I've been happy a lot. It just is true. It's just the last couple of days have been a little bit rougher on me. I was doing pretty well throughout the week. The research topic and then the future of the research is really the major life stressor. I do need to sit down and focus on my classes, which is not something I've been doing throughout the rest of this week, because I've been making a mix of poor choices and just been distracted with my thoughts. But yeah, none of the classes still shouldn't be difficult. I'm a little bit behind. I do need to just sit down and work tomorrow, and I know what situation would be ideal for that to happen, and I probably won't, but I still can make it happen regardless, because I am responsible and productive despite being disorganized. That is what the Big 5 personality test said of me, and it's just true. It's been my life so far. It will continue to be. It probably will seem very relatable to you when you watch this. I want to imagine that you're busy with a happy, fulfilled life at some point. You being me in the future. Also anyone else who watches this, I hope your life is happy and fulfilled as well. We can all be happy and fulfilled. It's not a zero-sum game. But who knows, right? Like, you'll be able to get a job. We all talk about automation, but even before the Great Resignation, would it be enough work for someone who didn't have a social net and the advantages that my parents would be to provide for me to live off of? No, not really. It'd be a struggle. But with my brothers and my parents doing well and things I can work out with friends, I probably can, if I don't continue not to have debt, can live off not even an engineering salary, just a minimum wage full-time job. And as much as, those jobs are, work, but they're low-skilled for me. It's on-the-job training, and it's a lot of effort, but you can do it. I can do it. And so there's no, great need for me to worry about my future, because I don't truly have huge aspirations. But if it's just me living my own life on my own, I can do whatever. And, I can count my own coffee spoons and see how that goes. And I can ask my own personal questions and, not worry about whether or not they'll sing for me. But I think it'd be hard to maintain social relationships if I choose that path, because it's not the path other people I know are going on. And so maybe I'd be overestimating my continued support if I choose that path in some way. And if I don't get off that path. And also, there are things that I wouldn't get on that path. But that's... C'est la vie.